What if fear of the truth didn't hold us back?
Instead of having to do the research yourself, we've done it for you. Tune in each week as real moms drop some truth bombs.
Answers start now.
All right. Here we are. We've started this.
Is it going right now?
It's going right now. We're live.
And we've already filmed the
We've already did the intro. So that's great.
Cool. So
yeah. I have a lot less boobage this round, so that's nice. I didn't realize that when I had River, like my boobs literally went from an A, not an A, it was a D cup, but I went from like a D to an I essentially. Yeah, it was an I, and so
that's insane.
This round I haven't plumped up, so I just lost all understanding of what big boobs are, even though they're still big.
They're still big.
Me, they're small.
Yeah.
So I got that outfit, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be great. And then I look at it, I'm like, oh, I look like a St. Pauli girl.
I liked it.
Yeah.
So
somebody, I will say, if people call me out for editing, it is edited. It's edited to make my boobs look smaller.
It has been edited.
It has been.
Because I actually questioned. I was like, did he even edit this?
Yeah. He sent it to me. He's like, here's edited boobies. I'm like, great.
But you're just living your truth of being a mom where your boobs are huge. So
yeah, I really am jealous of the girlies that can just wear like a cute little top and they don't have to worry about what it looks.
Yeah.
Like.
I completely lost my boobs.
I'm jealous.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like flat pancakes. I'm like, oh, cool.
But hey, you can wear a strapless shirt, or what's it called? Like a no bra.
No, there's some like stickiness that is. Oh. It's not fun. You need something to kind of separate.
Oh, I know all about the separation.
Oh, you know this. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just not used to that. Mm. So that's different. And that's
I fought with myself on doing like a mommy makeover once this is all done with babies. I'm like, I don't know. Yes. But I just I don't know. Do I go under the knife just for like a little extra lift?
Yes. Okay. If that's what you want to do. I mean, I talked to Justin about that. I'm like, second kid. Yeah. I'm like, I'm getting some stuff done. I'm sorry.
I just want them to be. My whole life I've had big boobs. So I think I've always dreamed of like little boobies. And then someone told me, they're like, hey, if you're going to do any augmentation or anything to yourself, wait until after kids.
Oh, yeah.
Now I get it because I would have had to do it again.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not why we're here.
No, it's not.
Welcome to Truth Moms.
Welcome to Truth Moms.
Boobs.
Hello, boobs. Yeah. So. Hi. Why did we start this? What happened?
Why did we start this? I think that I think it was just a conversation that we started this, right? Like I originally like a year and a half ago was talking to a friend of mine about, there really isn't. There's a lot of mom pods out there. There's a lot of influencers out there in the mom space that do one of two things. So either the fun mom and they talk about like, don't worry, don't feel shamed, don't whatever, do whatever you want, as a mom, you live your life and your kid will follow. And then there's like this extremely strict version of a mom. I feel like that's out there. That's, super crunchy, super, maybe even conservative in how they raise their children, and where those people are like homesteaders, I would say would be on that end of it. And then there's a lot of moms in the middle. And I think that's where I couldn't find that. Whereas it's just, I'm curious. I wouldn't consider myself an expert mom, right? I'm still a first time mom. My kid's 2. I feel like each year I learn something. And I'm inquisitive all the time. And unfortunately in that space, I feel like sometimes you're not really allowed to be. Sometimes they expect you to either know it all or be quiet about the silent suffering of what's going on, of what you're going through in motherhood.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, what if there was a podcast out there where we could interview people or talk to each other about this stuff is happening. I'm wondering, how much merit does it have? Because there's a lot out there. Right now we live in the world of make America healthy again, right? And there's this talk about food dyes and additives and poison your food and PFOAs and all of that stuff. But I think for every person that is qualified to talk about it, there's an equal number of people who are just hearing about it now. And so I think we speak for that in the middle of being like, hey, we heard about it too. Here's what we found out, I sit with the people that are like, I'm not going to throw everything out right away, right? A lot of times when I post something, they're like, hey, what do you suggest I do? Like, do I start eating right first? Do I throw it out my dishware first? Do I move my house to live on a homestead first? Like,
it can be so
overwhelming.
Yes.
And I think that I don't think anyone really needs a change. I think you just need to take information, decide what you want to do for it. And so in our friendship, I feel like we had that same conversation of like, okay, what have you done about this? Or, hey, have you heard about this?
Yes.
And again, even outside of social media, there's a lot of just having mom friends where that conversation's hard to have because maybe I differ in opinion than you. And it's very hard to leave without judgment or feeling judged. And I think when you find those people, you stick with them. And I think that's where we became friends. And then the podcast just sort of followed
and just like, this isn't out there. We need to make this a thing. Exactly.
Plus, I think our conversations are just so long and heavy. Or like, someone might as well listen to us besides us.
Right.
You know,
our mom walks.
Her mom walks.
Yes.
Yeah.
We used to have these great mom walks. When I first became a mom, I think, Brittany, you were about a year-ish.
Yeah.
And we'd have these great mom walks where we would just get in these really deep topics. And it was therapy for both of us, like wherever we were in our lives, whatever was going on. And it was just like, when we, started this idea, it was like, oh, we can definitely do this.
Yeah.
Like those conversations should have been recorded then. Right. So why not
on
bring
the walks?
It here? Yeah.
Which is funny too, because we've known each other longer.
Yes.
We work together. I essentially hired you as a organizer in my house.
Yes.
And I was like, it was what, 3 years in the making before we even came around to this. And that's sort of I don't know, I think that's sort of the life cycle of a mom. And I think, right, like you live your life, you're in your 20s, you do whatever, and you may cross paths here and there. Like it's like a parallel relationship. And then there's this niche, like we're both moms, we're both trying to figure it out. And you're like, hey, do you want to go on a walk?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, let's go. And that's
to not feel so alone.
That's where we combined our universes,
Yes,
but for we probably knew each other 5 years before that.
No, but even when like going on that walk before that, I didn't know that I knew you were definitely into like the healthy and like more natural stuff, but I didn't know you were as scrunchy as you were.
I don't think anyone does.
Yeah.
I think this is what scares me about the podcast is I think
really?
people are going to start listening and being like, oh my gosh, Brittany's actually a nut job. Because I'm so calm about it online.
Yeah.
And I want to preface it by saying, like, when I say things are how I feel, because I truly have lost friends, or feel like I can't connect with certain friends anymore, because when they say something and I now know better, it's hard for me to. It's like the red pill, blue pill, right? So it's like when you hear things, particularly in the world of food. With children, food and education become a huge topic because your kids are growing up and you want the best life for them. And I think when you start getting into that realm and your difference of opinion is so different, it's hard to walk away and be like, okay, they're not that they're a good mom, but like, okay, we're good. And I truly am like the 4 agreements. I'm attached to nothing. I'm willing to be wrong.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to judge, but I feel judged in those spaces.
100%.
And so I just choose not to share because I'm like, well, if my own friends are judging me for choices that I'm making, I wonder what the internet's going to say.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary.
Honestly, everyone already knows I'm a nut job. I'm not very quiet on the internet.
That's what I love about you.
So, it's been nice. Honestly, I haven't had any backlash really. I don't have as big of a following as you, obviously, but I think when I do put those things out, I am so surprised at the response that I get of people wanting to know more. And another reason why we're here, right?
Yeah.
So
I think you're right. I think we'll be delightfully surprised that majority of the people either agree or they also believe, right? We're not very different. I think that something that we're learning in the world of politics is you have extremes on both sides. And so right now, especially in this political climate that we live in right now, it feels like there's a left and a right. And there are definitely different opinions. But for the most part, I think if you sat down with somebody, you'd be like, oh, wow, okay, I'm on board with that. Yes. And it's the same thing with motherhood is that, if you put something online, there's a lot of motherhood influencers that I follow who will put something online like, I don't let myself feel guilty if my kid cries out, right? And you have these comments of people who you're not connected with at all. But if you sat down with them and you explained or you talked about it, I'm sure, right? You're like, hey, in that moment, I was going to lose my mind and throw a plate. So I hid myself in the back closet.
Literally, yeah.
And I think if you have those humanizing conversations, which is why we're doing this, it makes things feel less extreme.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that we're all kind of on the same page for the most part. Or you can at least see someone else's view and understand it. Yeah. And, empathize.
You can hate it if you want to. I don't care. It's good for the algorithm.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has their own opinion.
You can tell me you hate it, so I don't care.
Just hate it.
Yeah. A long time, that's what I think too, is that I was quiet for a long time. Unlike you, I think you're so confident and you're like, hey, this is my opinion and this is it. And if you hate me for it, that's great. And I've always played the middle because I don't want to intentionally exclude anybody. And I think that sometimes puts me at a ground for not standing up for myself.
Yeah. I think as much as I do say my opinion, I always try and see the other side first. Like I'll see political posts and I'll actually ask. I'll be like, hey, can you explain this more to me? I want to understand where you're coming from.
Right.
Like I'll see people say that and they sit there and explain it. I'm like, all right, thanks for informing me. Mm-hmm. I'll listen. And they say, thanks for listening. That's how those conversations should go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
one thing I learned about politics that I think is incredible in the motherhood realm as well is that for everything you look for, you will find what you're looking for to agree with if that's all you want to do, right? Mm-hmm. So if I make a general statement about, I don't know, food and I go looking for it, I'm never going to find the opposite because I'm going to always push myself towards, it's like a cop, right, is trying to solve a murder and they're so sure it's this one person. And instead of looking at all of the facts around them and, investigating other potential suspects, they focus in on this person and make them part of the thing. And I think that's something that we do quite a bit is that we tend to gravitate to what is agreeable and not necessarily what makes us grow.
Right.
So,
and that's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. So trying to cut through a lot of also just seeing a lot of things that are on the internet that are, I mean, obviously it's politics in a way, that are just conflicting and being able to try and streamline that noise and just say, hey, like, here are the facts. Like, that's another thing that I want to accomplish with this. And I know you do too.
Yeah. I think honestly, we were hesitant on having this podcast during an election year.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a good idea because it really does. I mean, they really do parallel each other.
Yes, for sure.
Whether or not you're a parent, they definitely have similarities in because a lot of the decisions that you make and how you vote are going to determine your kid's future. So now it's even more head on, but
and even more now. I don't know if it's because we're parents now and I feel like it's really heavy or it's just really heavy in general now in this.
I don't know. I was talking to a girlfriend of mine and we were talking like she posted something about being in the 90s. And she was like, oh, it was safer back then. I was like, was it really safer or we were just less access?
Right.
But either way, the world of the internet, like online bullying, going through, just an immense amount of knowledge, whatever can be put out there, say what you want about censorship or not. There are still there's a lot of false information out there on certain topics. And so you're stuck with like getting inundated with so much information and trying to find the truth. That's really tough.
It's so tough because it's all conflicting.
Yeah. So, and again, if you're not searching for the opposite side, you're never going to find it.
No.
So
yeah,
there's that.
All right. Well, welcome to Truth Moms.
Welcome to Truth Moms.